This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
It is Monday in the basement. You know what that means. The coffee's hot and the mics are hot.
My coffee's cold now.
Your coffee's
Reheat
cold.
it.
How's your coffee cold?
Because I made it 30 minutes ago.
But we had to hear about Doug chasing his truck. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, Doug, when trucks are in park, they're stationary. So you chasing your truck is a hilarious
One would think the laws of physics would dictate when the car's in park, you got these big, wide truck tires planted to the ground. Wouldn't move.
This happens to old guys. Sometimes they put it in neutral and
Can't get it. It's welcome to Michigan, right? Winter in Michigan.
Do you want me to tell this story, or we just want to do that another time?
No, I don't want to hear it again. It wasn't that great the first time. It will get better with age.
Oh, geez, email me the rest of the story. We got stuff to do. Let's raise our mugs, gents. On behalf of the men and women who are making podcast in Mom's Basement and all those stackers out there who had a fantastic weekend and a great week away from Stacking Benjamins, listening to greatest hits shows and watching the news, you're all working overtime. So thanks to you.
Thanks, everybody.
Here's the song that we'd like to do for all the younger set of people, the teenagers and what have you. This one's called Vacation's Over. Vacation's over. It's over. It's over.
Live from Joe's mom's basement, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and on today's episode, problems with some of the investments wealthy people use. Who's in trouble? How do you vet great investments so you don't run your own financial independence ship aground? We'll bring all of that, and of course, I'll share some trivia that'll make you excited you got up this morning. And now, 2 guys who both woke up on the let's make more money side of the bed. It's Joe and G.
That's right, Doug. Not only did we wake up on the let's make more money side of the bed, we woke up on the let's not lose money to stupid schemes side of the bed, because that's what we're talking about today. Welcome back to Stacking Benjamins. I'm so glad you found us. We are kicking off another 8 weeks of live shows, and if you missed the greatest hits week last week, man, did we have some good stuff from Jen Drummond, from George Georgian, and we got to hear Greg McFarland again. That was fun. But the guy we're hearing right now across the mic from me is the OG. How are you, man?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me back.
we just Doug and I took a vote, and we decided he could stay around a couple more episodes.
Love
Doug.
when I'm a guest on your show.
I'm still on the island. How do I get off this thing? How do I get voted off, for God's sake?
Speaking of that, I just saw a commercial for Survivor 50s. Does that mean Survivor is 50 seasons old?
Yeah.
They've had 50 seasons of Survivor.
But do they run like 3 a year or something?
They must.
Yeah. They didn't start Survivor when you guys were toddlers.
I was just thinking, man, how...
Or Mark, what's his name, never ages.
That's what it was like growing up in the 70s. Our parents had no idea what we were doing. We were on our own island surviving.
That was, don't come in until dark. Those days. We got a great show. We're going to help people shine a light, as it were, on your investment philosophy. If you're not sure how to evaluate investments, today's all for you, because the first half of the show, we're going to talk about how the 1% invest, OG. You know all those commercials for those those people that always go, you want to invest like this is how the 1% invest. Well, what could go wrong if you invest like the 1% invest? Maybe something.
What
we're
the
going to find out
1%
that.
don't want you to know.
Shh, be quiet.
We all talk about it at our meetings. Don't tell them this.
If you know how much the 1% did not care, what you know and what you don't know, it's great. And also, speaking of great, finally, the ferrets that spin the wheel here at Mom's Basement, they've made their master product. We call it the Stacking Benjamins Vault, stackingbenjamins.com/vault. Take care of those subscriptions, get your identity off the internet, watch for stuff that appears on the dark web, and take action immediately. stackingbenjamins.com. You have the vault already, probably in 7 different tools that you're never going to open because there's 7 of them. Why not put it all in one place and just get it done? So stackingbenjamins.com/vault. All right, we're going to get into it here in just a minute, but we got a couple sponsors to help us keep on keeping on. We're going to hear from them. And then OG, Doug, and I, we're going to go down the private equity rabbit hole on what can go wrong when you invest like the 1%. You may not know that when we started Stacking Benjamins, it was a blog. And even then, just the startup cost, I remember thinking, is this the right thing? And what if I write things and nobody comes, right? Well, luckily, that didn't end up happening. But starting something new isn't just hard. It's terrifying. There's so much work. You're not sure whether it's going to work out. You're not sure if anybody's going to read it. And then we change it to a podcast. Is anybody actually going to listen, right? What if nobody wants all the stuff that we have? Well, had I used Shopify, it would have been even easier because with their expertise, their helpful tools, and their easy to use platform, that's something that would have made Stacking Benjamins more effective much, much more quickly. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Names you've heard of like Heinz and Mattel, Shopify, Gymshark, Aviator Nation, Allbirds, also all Shopify. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button? It's used by millions of businesses around the world. It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. It also helps boost conversions, meaning less carts going abandoned and more sales for you. So you're stacking Benjamins much more quickly. Time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/SB. Go to shopify.com/SB. That's shopify.com/SB. Spring cleaning's made its way to my closet. This time of year always makes me rethink exactly what's in my closet. Really want to keep fewer things, but I also want to keep better ones. I want to feel confident, and to feel confident, looking the part's a big piece of that. So I want pieces that are well made and that are easy to wear all the time. And that's why I keep coming back to Quince. The fabrics feel elevated. The fits are thoughtful. Pricing actually makes sense. As I'm swapping out and I'm cutting, the few additions I'm making all come from Quince. Quince makes high-quality, everyday essentials using premium materials like 100% European linen. They're insanely soft, flow-knit activewear fabric. Their men's linen pants and shirts are lightweight, they're breathable, they're comfortable. Basically, the perfect layer for spring. The pants strike the right balance between laid back and refined. If you saw the video of me on stage at Retire Meet, those pants are from Quince. It was really cool. I came off stage and Christine Benz from Morningstar getting ready to go on behind me and said, "Love your pants." Not generally. I absolutely love them. I think they make me look put together without trying too hard. And they're flow-knit activewear, moisture wicking, anti-odor, soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it all day. The best part is their prices. This is important, stackers. They are 50 to 60% less than similar brands. How? Quince works directly with ethical factories, cuts out the middlemen, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup. Everything's designed to last and make getting dressed easy, which is another thing I think we all want. I love those pants that I wore on stage. It's the cashmere sweater. that every time I wear it, Cheryl goes, that is my favorite sweater on you. It looks great, feels great, and I don't have to have 50 things in my closet. So, like I am, refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/SB for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada, too. Go to QUINCE.com/SB for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/SB.
Hello, darlings. And now it's time for your favorite part of the show, our Stacking Benjamin's headlines.
Our headline today comes to us from the Wall Street Journal. Just about a week and a half ago, Telos Demos wrote this. Telos starts off by saying the market might eventually talk itself down from some of the worst fears about artificial intelligence disruption of software companies, but investors shouldn't expect private asset managers to bounce right back to where they were. As owners of and lenders to software companies through their funds, the largest private asset managers who've seen their shares shrink alongside swaths of the rest of the market in recent sessions. Perhaps surprisingly, though, the correction in many of these manager shares has actually been sharper, especially when viewed across a longer time horizon. Let's back into what these people are talking about, OG, because
I was going to say, I
just said
blacked
a
out
bunch
for
of
a second, so you're going to have to start over anyway.
Wait, what? So here's the deal. Let's start off with private equity, because these people, OG, part of the promise of private equity is you don't want to invest like the masses. You want to invest like the 1%. And the cool thing is we can make you more money, number one. And number two, OG, is, the term hedge fund initially was around, you can also hedge the downside risk by not investing like the heathens in these index funds. Can you talk for a second about the lure of private asset managers and what they're selling?
Well, if you think about it from the psyche of an investor, especially one who feels like he or she is a little behind the eight ball, right? Because people who have been investing since they were in their 20s and or 30s and have, money built up, and you've seen the progress and you've seen the compounding, have a different feeling about this necessarily than people who are just getting started, maybe. And what the allure of private equity investing is, or just private investments, and this could be something as simple as ownership of a company that, your buddy says, hey, this is a great idea, you should own this company with me, or a more public, like big name private equity type of deal or something like that. It could be buying stock in companies that are pre-IPO. So there's organizations out there that say, hey, do you want to get in on SpaceX? Like, here's how you can do it, But I think it all stems from some of the similar things, which is this fear that we're a little bit behind. And the only way to catch up is to be ultra aggressive in our investing. But the reality is, if you just strip away all that stuff and just look at it from the fact standpoint, we know that US Treasuries, so if you lend money to the US government, that's what we call our risk-free rate, because we are very confident, very, 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 very 99.9999999 repeating, very confident that the US is going to pay their bills. We call that the risk-free rate. And that hovers right now about, let's say, 4%. So you can get a guaranteed 4% by giving your money to the government. They're going to pay you back. We know that over long periods of time, the biggest companies in the United States average about 10. The proxy we use is the S&P 500. The way that I kind of think about this, or the way that I coach people to think about this, is what's the likelihood over the next 10 years that your investment in US Treasuries goes to zero? I mean, it's really, really small, right?
Not going to happen. Yeah.
You think about all the dominoes of other things that would go wrong if you gave $10,000 to the government as a loan, as a bond, and they 10 years from now go, yeah, we just don't have it. Sorry. There's other chaos going on. Okay. What's the likelihood over 10 years of your stock portfolio, the S&P, returning zero? I mean, pretty low also, right? Like,
Right.
I'm not saying it can't, because there's crazy, crazy, crazy things we can't even project. But in reality, over the last 100 years worth of recorded history, the worst that it's happened is broken even over 10 years.
We covered this a few weeks ago, and I can link to it in the show notes. We went through these numbers. The longer you leave it alone, the better your chance of breaking even at the very least is. And over 20 years, historically, you've never had a loss.
Yeah. So let's just say that 10 years, you put in $100,000, you're pretty sure you're getting at least 100,000 back in 10 years. Probably you're getting 200,000 back if history is a guide. What is the chance that your brother-in-law's ice cream shop, using that as a proxy for private equity investing, in 10 years from now returns zero? Well, it's higher than the biggest companies in the universe, right? Like it's some metric higher. So what kind of return do you need to get to offset the fact that you've got one bucket here that pretty much is, well, you have three buckets, right? You got one bucket that guarantees you're going to get your money back from the US government and with interest. You got another bucket that's, you're pretty sure you're getting all your money back and pretty confident not only you're going to get it back, but it's probably going to double. That's the S&P. And then you get this other bucket, which has two outcomes. Zero, ice cream shop fails, or it's successful. What does successful have to be to offset the risk of zero? And I would submit to you that it's not 10% because you get 10 in the S&P. It's not 12. It's like, it better double, it better triple, it better quadruple in a short period of time. Otherwise, like, what the heck are we doing? Because I'm going to double in the S&P in 10 years. I'll probably double in 7. Why would I go, hey, if you give me $100,000, we can start this business. We're going to double in 10 years. Be like, bro, I can do that and use the smartest people in the universe to do it.
I want to talk about two things that you brought up, OG, because I think they're important points. I was recently in another forum, and while you were speaking, I brought it back up because I want to read who the target market is for this type of investment. Because you talk about,
let's see if I was right.
Well, no, you're 100% right, but let's just put a real face on this, because this is somebody about to make a mistake. Maybe not with private equity, but they're about to make a mistake. This is what the piece says. I recently read in a college parent planning group that people who invested in their 529 plans based on target age ended up with 4% growth over 18 years. That is crazy to me. This person then writes, we don't have a lot in there for our kids. Right? You can see this coming because we couldn't contribute when they were babies. We got married, had a baby, bought a house all in 1 year when they were in their 20s and paid for childcare for years. We ended up having 3 kids. All the reasons that everybody had, all the reasons why we're behind.
Yes. You just stamped it as a common American family.
But you can hear the panic setting in.
Yeah.
Right now, our 14-year-old has $35,000. Our 11-year-old has 11. This is the sentence. I know our oldest is close to college, so while we're contributing $10,000 a year in his account now, I want to maximize the return. Oh, God. This is the target for these investment schemes going, you're behind. Look at what happens to the average guy. Look at what you don't want to invest like that. Why would you invest like that? That's crazy. So here's what you should do instead. Hand it over to Doug, who has this phenomenal approach to making up time. And by the way, they made a second mistake, which is I'm asking the internet, a bunch of people I don't know, to quote, help me. People that have no idea what their situation is, what their risk tolerance is, anything about them. I'm going to jump on an online forum and ask them. And the opinions that follow.
You were reading an online forum. I thought this was part of the article at first, and now I know what you're saying. Yeah, you were kind of piecing this all together. And to be clear, I'm not suggesting for a second that brand new companies, private equity, private credit, although we'll see. I'm not saying that can't be successful, because I think all of us here know people who have done that and been successful. I think a lot of our listeners would be able to say, well, no, this person I know got in on such and such a thing early and made a killing. And it's like, all of that's true. The hard part is that because they're binary outcomes, you have to make a lot of bets to find the one that's the winner. And most people don't have the capital to do lots of bets to wait for one to pay off.
But that's why these investments can work for the 1%, because they do have the capital. And this is what people miss when they're like, invest like the 1% does this. Well, yeah, but the 1%, it's a micro fraction of their net worth.
Yeah,
they can afford to take these risks, but you can't put 80% of your retirement or your kid's college in this super aggressive thing with a binary outcome and expect to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a lottery ticket. I was thinking about this the other day because I was talking to somebody about a private company investment, and, it was all the reasons why it was going to work. And I said, well, all of that may be true. And there might be the one reason you can't even predict as to why it won't. Like, You're one legislation away from making your company go bankrupt, right? You say the black swan event, sometimes you can't even predict what that looks like. Take Airbnbs, right? Here's a great example. Everybody said, go buy Airbnbs, depreciate them, do the cost seg analysis because, it costs $5,000 to do, but you're going to save $100,000 on your taxes. You're a W-2 person, build up all these Airbnbs. It's super awesome, super easy to do. Banks like to lend on it because you got positive cash flow, blah, 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 blah. And then the city of Plano goes, yeah, we don't allow that anymore. And you go, well, no, you don't understand. This is my business. Like, we don't care. Our community has decided that we don't do this. Now what? Now you have a load of rental properties without tenants in them. And now you're a landlord, not an Airbnb host. Now you're trying to offload it. You know what I mean? Like everything was working great until it stopped. So it's hard to predict what those things are going to be. And to your point, Joe, when you do it with $50K and your net worth is $5 million, I'm not saying losing 50 grand is not a big deal because it is, but it doesn't change the needle. I would also submit to you, by the way, that person who puts 50K in with a $5 million net worth also probably isn't going to get but a 10x return. Like that's a good number, right? So what's 10x on that? 500K? What's an average return of a stock portfolio that has $5 million in it? 500K? Like, what are we doing? But it's 10x return. I know. Okay, cool.
Well, and that's what this piece points out is now you have that downside that naturally comes with it.
Yeah, and so what do you really have to do? You have to do 9 investments of 50K to get one to turn to 500. Well, what did you do? You put 450 grand in to make 50 grand. Am I crazy?
Math, not mathin'.
You just look at the historic numbers of venture capital firms. They're 99 to 1, 98, 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100. And you're going to do it with a 1 home run. But then the other piece about this that I think, let's set aside the expected return piece for a bit. The other thing that I think is really important for most investors to recognize is the liquidity issue. The problem with most private investments, whether it's real estate, because we talked about these before, the real estate aggregation investment companies, some of which have blown up spectacularly, called it. And late, what, Doug? Sorry. You guys don't want to pat me on the back. I'm going to do it myself, man. The latest thing to have quite literally blown up in people's laps is private credit, which, this just sounds so funny. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I just look at incongruencies. I just see them in my life. I just happen, my brain is trained for it. So when I hear private credit, it's almost like there's a movie, and I can't remember what movie this was. I feel like it was Wedding Singer, an Adam Sandler movie or something. If you guys remember this from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And there was a scene in that movie. I think it was this movie where he's talking to this guy, and I think maybe his girlfriend's old ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, fiance, or something weird. Anyways, he goes, well, what kind of work are you in? And the woman in the movie goes, oh, he's in junk bonds. And then the boyfriend, husband, or whatever says, I don't say that you're in junk real estate. I prefer high yield. We're in high yield bonds. And that has really always stuck with me because it's the same thing, right? It's it's the same side of it's just like the same coin, but it's a different way to spin it. So when I hear private credit, people go, ooh, private credit. I would like to invest in private credit. Well, you know who needs private credit? People who aren't credit worthy. Because if you didn't need private credit, you would go to the bank and just be like, hey man, I need $2 million. And they'd be like, all right, you're a super good qualified person. Here's $2 million at 5%. Go buy your machinery. The people who need private credit are the people who are like, listen, bruh. So it's like, look, you get 14% yield. You know why? Because there's a really good chance that idiot's not paying back the loan and you're going to own a tractor somewhere.
I like how he started all that by saying, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
it's almost my favorite line.
Every conspiracy theorist starts their opening statement like that. But if you look at the shadows on the lunar lander, they don't line up with the shadows from the flag.
I don't think Bigfoot exists, but
they always start that way.
Yes. Right. I don't believe in ghosts, but is this a line?
You should look into the bond market. That's where the money is.
Funds and junk bonds.
Jules, it's high yield bonds. Do I tell people you're in junk waitressing?
Junk waitressing, that's right. Yeah.
That's Drew Barrymore.
If you just kind of peel away the layers of the onion, it's like, if you start with the premise that the government gives me 4% for doing absolutely nothing, And the biggest, most well-capitalized, most well-run companies in the universe give me 10 on average. Why would you guys offer 14? What's the catch? And the catch is quality or liquidity. And sometimes both, honestly. And so even if you get into an investment that is good and actually like on paper, you're like, damn, I'm killing it. You can't get your money out anyway because they go, well, we need it because we own all these apartment buildings and wherever, or we own these, this farmland and wherever. It's like you can't use it until the liquidity event happens where they take all of it and then they sell it to another investor or something down the line. So I think there's two sides to this. One is the return expectation, which we beat to death. And then I think the other piece of it is just, even if you're right, you're still going to be wrong because that person that you talked about in terms of like their college fund, you got to be able to use the money in 4 years. And there's a real chance that they just go, yeah, sorry, we can't do that.
That's a question that doesn't get asked enough is how do I get out of these investments? And I remember early in my career, I don't know about you, OG, but early in my career when I was meeting with new potential clients, I saw this a lot where they came to see me because they were in an investment they did not know how to get out of. And that was the key to beginning our relationship, was just unraveling this mess.
Can you fix this mess?
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot less now, but it also happens, I think, in waves during periods of chaos. I mean, the biggest product that has the ebbs and flows of market movement, chaos investing, if you will, is annuities. Like where things go a little squirrely, you see all the ads for like, are you tired of seeing the stock market go down 10% and your retirement is evaporating? It's like, yeah, did you lose $2 million in the market last year? And so it sounds really good to like lock that up. And it's like, okay, it's locked up. Yeah, it's locked up for like 15 friggin' years, bro. Like you can't touch it, or you can, but under huge penalty.
And it's funny, the person I read to you earlier in that online forum, who I think is the type of person that these firms market to where they feel they're behind, there's a whole different subgroup of people, OG, that are worried about, what if I lose? What if I lose money? And that every time the market starts to shake, we see a little volatility. People worry more. Man, those annuity companies, they're quick on the trigger. One that got me, and you and I have been doing this for a long time, and this didn't get me to the point that I put money in it, but I thought this dude had turned the corner. I thought that he was a guy that actually had what I thought myself, OG, was a pretty damn good idea. I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I just thought it was finally a good idea out of this dude, because over the years, a long time ago, when we started going after people that we thought were swindlers and were taking your money, OG, you and I went after this guy in the early years of the podcast named Ty Lopez. And Ty Lopez very famously made a ton of money telling people they could do stuff while he was standing in front of a Lamborghini and this beautiful mansion. And
I don't know who this is.
And what we found out later, remember, this is the guy we found out later. He had rented the mansion and the Lamborghini for literally like half an hour so that he could stand in front of it and imply that he had all this stuff that he didn't have. He ended up on the Tim Ferriss show. He ended up with
like the photo shoot that's like the inside of a cockpit of an airplane. That's really just like in some industrial park.
Yeah.
And
they're leasing it out to influencers every 20 minutes. Yeah. And they're buying it so they look like a baller when they're really not. Well, this guy, Ty Lopez, it's funny that you don't remember this guy, because you and I spent a lot of time warning people about these types of schemes where they're making themselves look good. But this is a Wall Street Journal article from a few weeks ago. He vowed to revive Radio Shack and Pier 1. So I thought this was cool. Tano, quote, Ty Lopez was living proof the American dream was still attainable for young men willing to bet on themselves. By the way, he was totally marketing to young dudes, to the bro culture. The entrepreneur hosted parties at a mansion in Beverly Hills and boasted about the black Lamborghini in his garage. All, by the way, he didn't own any of this stuff. The college dropout had made a name for himself on social media.
Shots fired.
By offering get-rich-quick schemes and self-help courses. He urged his followers to invest in a new company he'd started. And this is when I was like, oh, maybe Ty's actually onto something here. This new company scooped up distressed retailers on the cheap. They bought Radio Shack out of bankruptcy. They bought Pier 1 out of bankruptcy, Dress Barn, Modell's Sporting Goods, and Linens and Things. These are all brands you've heard of that have been around forever. So he puts together this company and he goes and he gets investors going, you know what? Radio Shack's no longer going to be stores. We're going to take them online. Like it's just going to be online Radio Shack. And how many people Google Radio Shack still in a given day? There's got to be a fair number of people.
I got a Radio Shack in my town. They're still thriving.
You do have one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a few left and I've got one.
I wonder how that works now that Ty owns the company. I have no idea. But this is the person we're talking about, OG. Sean Murphy, some dude, saw Lopez's post on his Facebook and Instagram feeds and was drawn in by the brand names like I was. But this is the key. And a promise of 20% returns. He invested $175,000 in the company called Retail E-Commerce Ventures and related Lopez Ventures. All told, Lopez raised more than $230 million.
Nice.
From hundreds of mostly small investors. Murphy's an Illinois grandfather. He got a $10,000 Pier 1 gift card, monthly checks of about $1,000 a month for 2 years, which, by the way, we find out later. Guess where that $1,000 came from, OG?
The dude that's put in the 175.
The next dude in line. The payments abruptly stopped in late 2022, and the struggling retailers were taken over by some of the company's creditors last September. Shock to nobody in hindsight. The Securities and Exchange Commission filed a civil lawsuit against Lopez and his partners, accusing them of running a Ponzi scheme, misleading investors, and misappropriating $16.1 million.
Investors? Possibly you!
The FBI has also been contacting investors, though no charges have been filed yet. This is what happens when you think you want to invest like the 1%. And man, what a good story, OG. Who doesn't love Radio Shack?
Okay, so, and I was gonna say, and so back to the storyline here of this particular investment. Even you said, hey, you know, this has some legs, right? Now, notwithstanding the Ponzi scheme part of it, and what I guess they'll probably figure out was some fraud, the storyline of like, hey, we can buy these. I mean, that's what Warren Buffett does. He buys all the value companies. You know, it's like maybe that is a good payoff, but you have to understand, like I said before, it's a binary outcome. You are going to get money or it's going to be zero. There is no yawn and then I averaged 10% for the next 20 years and I retired like normal. You know what I mean? Like that's not an option when you are investing in small. This is no different than if you start your own laundromat or you start your own business. You'll be successful or you won't. Like it's a huge risk. And the payoffs are really good if you're successful.
A lot of our stackers, maybe, even though you haven't run a business, you may have backed something on Kickstarter. This is no different than a Kickstarter campaign, right? And people get angry.
Private lending thing. What was that? Peer Street or something like that, where you could like do micro loans. What did you have to do? You had to like go, well, I want those 14%ers because those are fun, but I gotta balance that out with a bunch of 4%ers because I know that 3 out of the 10 14%ers ain't going to pay me anything back.
And then all of a sudden you realize how a bond manager makes their money.
Yeah, exactly. And all of a sudden I'm a bank credit officer, but without the salary.
And handing out money to people that don't repay and learning a valuable lesson. How do you evaluate these investments? We're going to talk about that in the second half of today's show. We've got some great guidance from the Securities and Exchange Commission. We're going to walk through that with you and give you the primer on investigating these opportunities, what's good and what's not. But before we get there, Doug, it's a new 8 weeks, which means brand new 8 weeks of trivia.
I'm back, baby. Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and wow, it's a huge day in history because back in 1964, Ford began production of its newest car, one that cost $2,368 when it first went on the market, and one that sold an industry record 417,000 units in its first year alone. What makes this whole thing ironic is the name of the car was also my nickname in high school.
Ford had a car named Small.
What's the name of this iconic Ford automobile? I'll be back right after I go figure out which stock is a stallion this quarter. Is it chicken stock?
Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. There for those all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken, the times you're deep in your flow and can't be interrupted by an auto update. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to you. Built with long-lasting batteries so you're not scrambling for an outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
K-pop Demon Hunters, Haja Boys Breakfast Meal and Huntrix Meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
Hey there, stackers. I'm car lover and guy who's living his glory years, Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. Oh, those high school days. I was a big fan of that orange drink Tang back in the day. So my crazy friends had this great nickname for me, which shares the same name as an iconic Ford car, which began production on today's date in 1964 and set all kinds of sales records. The answer? Yes, because I must have Tang. Those crazy friends of mine called me Mustang, which also happens to be the name of that amazing vehicle. And now, back to two guys who are driving you toward financial independence, Joe and OG.
How much Tang did you drink as a kid, Doug?
Almost none.
Same.
That was too expensive for us.
I always thought it was going to be this really cool drink, and I would con my mom into buying it. And she would buy it. And it wasn't that good. It just,
you know what always over-delivered though? Sunny D.
See, that's the generational difference right there.
No?
Because I don't think, I mean, Sunny D wasn't a thing when we were kids, was it, Joe?
By like 4 years?
No, but what was the thing was Kool-Aid with those little packets, and then you take the entire bag of sugar and pour it in.
You just slice the bottom of the paper bag of sugar and just let that dump right into the pitcher.
They had the wood spoon.
Yeah.
You like your Kool-Aid spoon?
No wonder the Kool-Aid man was busting through walls. That dude was so sugared up.
Yep.
You could bust through anything, and then you're taking a nap 15 minutes later.
Make like ice cubes out of it, little popsicles of Kool-Aid.
Well, guys, this is the swan song. It is the, Steve, can we get some taps? Yes, it's the swan song, people, of our TikTok Minute. We're retiring this segment because next week we're debuting. Well, I thought he was going to be playing taps under me saying it.
Actually, when you said you were retiring it, I was trying to hit this one.
You're so happy. We have a brand new segment coming up that, should we tell people or should we just let them find out next Monday?
No, I'm really excited about it. And we got this kind of a half idea. Should we give Doug even like a little credit?
Oh, God, I hate this part. This part's so painful.
Okay. I'll like chew through some love for Doug. But, you know, Doug's kind of the voice of reason and said, you know, maybe we ought to have a little back to the basics and how we think about things and just kind of work through some planning things systematically. We kind of kicked that around. And so we're going to have a new segment instead of this like really awesome TikTok thing. Where Anna and I work together for 5 or 6 minutes every Monday to work through some financial planning topics. We don't have it named yet. We don't have anything cool, background music or Doug intro yet, but we'll think of something. Maybe somebody else can name it for us. But we're kind of excited.
I thought we were doing this new thing just because we finally ran out of internet. Should we use all of TikTok?
The internet machine with all kinds of new stuff. Finally, we reached the end. Like the pandemic when somebody said, I watched all of Netflix.
Yes, I'm at the end.
Can you actually reach that? I'm super excited. It's a great idea. And that new basics, SB Basics, maybe we call it that. I don't know. Like Amazon Basics, SB Basics debuts next Monday with OG and Anna. But for our last one, last week we had a great video on our YouTube channel from the amazing Bonnie Hammer talking about what makes a good employee, what makes a great career. Part of Stacking Benjamins, obviously, is being great at your job. I saw this from the CNBC TikTok channel, the amazing restaurateur Danny Meyer talking about what he thinks you should do to maybe be better at your career.
We're looking for a 100% employee, just like anyone applying to work for us should be holding us accountable for being a 100% employer. How do you get to that 100%? 51% of it are your emotional hospitality skills. And those emotional skills, we've identified 6 that are always present in someone who's got what we call a high HQ, high hospitality quotient. Someone with a high HQ is someone who is happier themselves when they make someone else feel better. Imagine if you had a car where the more you drove it, the more it filled itself up with gas. That's like someone with a high HQ. The 49% that gets us to 100 are somebody's technical skills. Are they a really good cook? Do they make the world's best pasta? Whatever it is, we need both. You got to have the whole package.
So can you teach a hospitality quotient, or is it just inherent?
It's hard to teach emotional skills. Are you kind and optimistic? Are you a curious learner? Do you have an excellent work ethic? Do you have empathy? Do you care how someone else feels? Do you have self-awareness? Do you know what your own personal weather report is on any given day? And finally, do you have integrity? Do you have the judgment to do the right thing, even when it may not be in your own self-interest? I don't know how to teach someone to be those things. I do know how to teach someone how to hire for those emotional skills. And I also know how to celebrate those skills when you see them.
So then he talks about promoting people and making sure they stay with the organization. But I think this is important, OG, for one reason. I wanted to end our TikTok minutes on this one because I feel like when we go into a career, we lean about 75 to 80% on having those technical skills and in being great technically. But Danny Meyer saying 51% of it is the emotional side, your ability to work in a team and be a great member of the team. You've been an employer for a long time. You've seen people come and go, OG. What do you think about what Danny said?
It's interesting that this came up today because I was just talking to my daughter about, she's 9. And so she had like a little error in judgment as a 9-year-old. It was all about learning and trying to grow from it and all that sort of stuff. But the piece of it was around the fact that it's okay to have these errors. It's okay to make mistakes. It's just like, how do you react to them? And when you think about service or the service industry, which, I mean, even if I can't think of a job that wouldn't be service based at some level, whether it's serving, your employer or serving your teammates or serving customers or whatever. We think serving is like a job, like I'm a server, but in really just about any profession, you're having some interaction with other people. But it seems to me that the people who respond best to things that come up, whether it's positive things, which are far more infrequent in work than negative things, like it's always a good thing when you get an attaboy from a boss, but a lot of times you get like, we did that wrong. Or a customer says you did this incorrectly, or worse, right? You cost your company money, or you get fired because you made such a big mistake. Like how you react to that is so much a better indicator, I think, of how you are as a person versus just pure technical capabilities in whatever field you're in. Doug's got way more experience in this than
well, it's funny because that's actually that's 100% where I was going next was to Doug, because this is kind of his field, is helping teams work together. But what struck me, Doug, is I really like the part to jump on. Really, OG, what you said, I love that Danny Meyer said that, people that get that helping other people is really fun and being helpful is really fun. Yeah, I mean, he's in the service industry, right? So of course he's looking for that, but I think that translates to any industry, Doug.
It does. It's just so hard when you're in a larger corporate structure to try to devote any mental cycles or just physical labor cycles to helping other people because you feel like you're handling all you can handle with the workload you've been given and with the critique and criticism you're frequently getting from your leadership. You're like, man, I don't have time to try to be the air beneath the wind between
What's happening?
The wind beneath your wings.
The air between wings or something like that.
He's a big Bette Midler fan.
You can't even think straight when you're that buried in large corporate America. But it doesn't take much, I think, is where I'm trying to go, is it really doesn't take a lot of time. It can be almost some quick offhanded comments you make as you're at lunch with somebody. And over time, you'll get that reputation of somebody who is building other people up, and it'll start to pay dividends. It's just really hard to see that. You don't have to like volunteer for every project and say, I'll help out, even though I'm fully billable on all the rest of my time. Like you don't have to go that far. Just be somebody who is having other people's best interests on your mind. And over the course of a year, you're going to get to be a go-to person.
It is funny because Bonnie Hammer in the video that I referenced from last week, which really was why I wanted to play this, and I will link to this because everybody should watch it. You know, she complains as the former vice chairperson for NBC Universal and the head of the Sci-Fi Channel and all the things that Bonnie did, complaining about Gen Z and work ethic. And what she's not complaining about, by the way, is a generation. She's complaining about young employees and what they don't get. Which, by the way, people complain about millennials. People complain about Gen X. People complain about, like, every generation gets there. Oh, these kids coming up, right? But the thing that struck me from both of these conversations, guys, was just how much I really enjoy working with AI, even though AI is wrong a ton of the time. And I kind of think it might be a good idea to think of yourself a little bit the way AI works. Because, you know, these people creating AI are making it addictive. They're making it so you want to use it more. And if I'm a great employee, I want people around me to be excited about working with me. And what does AI do? Oh, my goodness, Doug, that's a fantastic idea. Let me tell you how we do that great.
You know what happened to me the other day?
And then it gives me, well, hold on, just let me finish the thought, because I don't want to lose this thread, which is that if somebody came to me and if an employee came to me and goes, oh, my goodness, Joe, I'm on board with this plan. Let's do this. And let me help it any way I can. Even if it's garbage, at least I know your head's in the right place. But, oh, gee, I'm sorry.
Well, no. I was just going to say, in terms of like, sometimes you wonder like how this all works and you just go, maybe there's just like somebody on the other end of the keyboard that's just really smart. And they're just like, okay, yeah. Like, oh, it's a great thing that you're talking about this, whatever, you know, and they're like looking it up while they're typing, right? They're just really fast typing.
Right.
Because I was in this thread with chat about something and I can't remember what it was, but I was just like, I literally was like swearing at it. Like, F it, you're fired. You're like the crappiest coach out there. I never want to talk to you again. Send. I shut my computer. And like when I came back to chat, like, you know, whatever, the next day it popped up and it's like, we would like to ask you about your recent experiences with chat. It's almost like I did the survey at the end of the call and they're like, and then they called you. They're like, really? You gave us a 1? Like, why? So somewhere in there, they've got like, if OG cusses you out, like something went wrong. And it was like, what specifically went wrong with your chat? You know, it's like, I just wrote, you suck. Next topic.
Even when it sucks, I found myself coming back to it though. And I think if, as an employee,
I did mention I was firing it and moving to a competitor. Maybe that had something.
I'm going to Claude.
Maybe that was something to do with it too. Grok never gives me this kind of attitude.
We'll link to this, of course, in our show notes. And goodbye, TikTok Minute. I thought that was a good one to end on before our brand new segment of swinging to the basics. Maybe we call it swinging to the basics next week. No,
don't like it.
Not doing that. Doug's always thinking about a different type of
sweating to the basics.
Sweating to the basics. No. But we don't want to sweat. We want it to be cool and calm and collected. Can't be sweating.
Doesn't work either.
Yeah, not going well. Let's dive into the second half of today's headline. You know, earlier in the show, we discussed all of the problems of investing, like the 1%. Let's spend a few minutes here teaching you how to look at investments. And the Securities and Exchange Commission has a piece. So, I'd like to get your thoughts on these points. Financial navigating in the current economy, 10 things to consider before you make investing decisions. Number one, they start with not the investment at all, OG. Number one is draw a personal financial roadmap. Why is it important that you start there versus with what's this opportunity?
Well, because it's a beginning with the end in mind, right? It's like, what are we trying to do? If you've got a clear understanding of where you want to go, then it's a lot easier to figure out what tools you need to get there versus just blindly going, I'm going in this direction. So Alice in Wonderland quote.
Yeah, 100%. You know exactly what tools are going to reach, which ones aren't. And then it can still be a good investment, OG. You can go, you know what? This sounds like a great opportunity. It just doesn't meet my goal.
It doesn't fit right now.
And once we know whether it meets it or not, let's say it does, then number 2 is evaluate your comfort zone on taking the risk. So I like this as second, because now that we know what the risk is that we need to take, then we do the gut check. Then we go, okay, can I really stomach this? And I think that when you start to do that and you think about what you said earlier, OG, about binary returns, can I stomach the fact that this money will all be gone?
Yeah.
Potentially. You know, I want to think about it tripling, but if it's going to triple, there's a chance it could be gone. Number 3, consider an appropriate mix of investments. And I think this is where we get away from the 1%. Can I put $50,000 into Doug's ice cream stand, Doug's Tang factory, and still be diversified?
Is it Doug's ice cream stand and Tang factory? Because then I'm definitely in.
It's both. It's like Disney with the Dole Whip, right? The best thing ever. Ice cream and the Dole pineapple. So
yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Number 4, be careful of investing heavily in shares of employee stock or any individual stock. What's important about that?
It's important to be careful.
Thank you.
That's the important part. They literally said it in the headline. It was great. They did a good job. It was edited very well.
That's why we give him the color commentary spot on this.
Damn.
Well, you know, if he picks up a first down,
You're not, yeah.
Yeah, if he runs at 10 yards, that'll be a first down,
They'll
everybody.
get 4 more tries to do it again. That's why we have OG.
Number 5, create and maintain an emergency fund.
Oh, say it ain't so, Joe.
Why would you do that first? Why not just go for it? Buy the lottery ticket, invest in Doug's Wu-Tang Tang.
Wu-Tang. Whoa. Wu-Tang cream.
Wu-Tang. That's a good name.
I like that.
Number 6, pay off high interest credit card debt. Well, that's an easy one, OG, because it's a guaranteed return.
I mean, it really is. Like, you know, people don't think of it that way. It's amazing how much cash flow freed up you have when you don't owe anybody any money. I've told this story before. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. When we moved and we didn't owe anybody anything for a period of time, it was really quite wild. Like how just not having to, you know, you're just on living expenses. And the reality is that most credit cards these days are 20, 22, 25, 30% interest. You're not going to get a better return in the market than 30% a year. That's pretty awesome. So take that win.
Number 8, speaking of free money, take advantage of free money from your employer before you do anything else. Number 9, consider rebalancing your portfolio occasionally.
Because on the employer side, again, some people will say like, oh, my company only matches 3%. Is it really worth it? It's 100% return on your money. You put in $100, they give you $100. That's 100% ROI. Like you don't have to invest it. Like you just made 100% return. Even if it's only 3%, it's still 100%.
And I'll buy 3 things at Tide at Target at one time to get the $25 gift card.
Exactly.
You know,
if you spend $78, we'll give you a 25 back. You're like, well, I was only going to spend 25.
Number 9, consider rebalancing portfolio occasionally. And it's
once a year.
Well, and this is the other thing, OG. In these private equity investments, you can't rebalance away from it. You might be able to put more money in, but you can't take money away, generally speaking, in little chunks. It's very difficult to do the rebalancing. So if rebalancing matters to your portfolio, watch out for those. And then number 10, and here's the Ty Lopez warning, avoid circumstances that can lead to fraud. Is there a chance this could be fraud? And with Ty Lopez, I bought it. Turns out, might have been a fraud. We'll link to these in our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. Just a great way to funnel down your investments. Maybe get rid of a little. It's okay, OG, to be excited to hear about this stuff, but to act on it without doing your due diligence, let's walk through these 10 things first. That brings us almost to the end of our first show of the 8 weeks back. But before we go there, we'd like to talk about some of the cool stuff going on in our community. Doug, what's going on out there in Stackerland, my friend?
One thing I just noticed, I don't know, maybe 10 days ago or so, was a great post I liked. Jamie made a great post was fairly lengthy. She's trying to help out a friend at work, if I remember correctly. And Jamie said, what's the best avenue for a young work friend who doesn't have a financially savvy parent or friend and can't afford the cost of a financial advisor? All kinds of people chimed in. We had Larry and Frank chimed in, but I really liked the comment from Jimmy, who just summed it all up and said, listen to OG. Like, that's all you need to do. Just listen to OG. Boom.
What else do you need?
Chakalaka. And then there was some guy named Joe who chimed in with the Simple Path to Wealth as a recommendation. And then this other book that has the brightest yellow cover ever in print in history were two great basic ways
if only there was a way to look at the 6 steps of financial planning in one book that was made to be
that had
entertaining
fun
and walk
pictures.
through it.
It needs to have pictures. Does it have pictures? I like pictures.
It does. It has fun pictures, some good graphs. Yeah, you can see my stick people. It's amazing. But the Simple Path to Wealth is a great place for somebody starting out, because what that does is generally calms you down and goes, you know what? You can be okay investing in one thing. Don't get so freaked out.
And the other thing that this Joe guy talked about was maybe getting involved with a financial community, like maybe a Benjamin's After Dark group.
Which we've got a group in Boston that's starting up on Wednesday. So come join everybody on Wednesday at Hannah's Brewing at 6 p.m. That's in Melrose. I'm so excited to see what Carol Ann, James, and Susan have brewing for all of our stackers. Be part of the new crew and help create this new group in Boston. Benjamin's After
Get on
Dark.
the ground floor.
stackingbenjamins.com/meetup to tell them that you're coming, and stackingbenjamins.com/bad to join groups there in the Twin Cities, in Southern Minnesota, in Seattle. And we're working with Tucson right now and talking to people in the Bay Area, in Dallas, and in Colorado about potential groups, among others. So more to come.
These are all places I would love to travel on the corporate dime. These are all places I would love to go.
They are great places. And you see these stackers getting together. It's so heartwarming to see people finding their community.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for today. Thank you for lending us your ear, stackers. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, maybe they've fallen for something or they're considering an investment that's more of a private placement investment, be sure and share the episode with them. Because, man, helping others, like Danny Meyer said today, is a great thing. You can help save somebody's financial independence by maybe making sure they don't make a misstep. All right, Doug, take it from here, man. What are the 3 things we should have learned on today's show?
Well, Joe, first, take some advice from our headline. Vetting individual investments, everything matters. The manager, the fund approach, the history, and the fees. So don't be wowed by a great sales pitch telling you to invest, quote, like the 1%. Second, that investment policy statement we've always been talking about, maybe time to get one yourself so you stay out of investment traps like we discussed today. But the big lesson? I am so excited. Today's show reminded me of those old Mustang days. But this Tang drink, it just doesn't mix as well with rum as I expected. This show is the property of SB Podcast, LLC, copyright 2026, and is created by Joe Saul-Sehy. You'll find out about our awesome team at stackingbenjamins.com, along with the show notes and how you can find us on YouTube and all the usual social media spots. Come say hello. And oh yeah, before I go, not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.
Have you guys ever been to Nantucket?
Uh-huh. Long time ago.
I just know that there once was a man from Nantucket.
I've been to Martha's Vineyard next door, but never to Nantucket. But
one of the greatest sitcoms of all time was about Nantucket.
Oh, is that Wings?
Wings
was Nantucket, which I'm sure made you excited about. One stacker was talking about watching Leanne, and you were probably excited about Leanne because you knew that he was going to be on the show, and then you were disappointed because it was just like a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Tim, what's his name? Tim. Somebody.
Don't remember.
Main guy from Wings, and you've got no idea. I'm so disappointed. We thought you were a
Tim
real
Daly.
fan.
Sorry, I thought you were. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the stacker. No, Tim Daly was one of the leads on the show,
and was the love interest on Wings, on Leanne. This I found interesting. What the heck's going on in Nantucket? This is NBC 10 Boston.
New testing shows Nantucket's sewer water is filled with cocaine. According to the Inquirer and Mirror, the island's cocaine markers have routinely exceeded national and regional averages. 2 spikes in October and December reached nearly 3 times the national average. Nantucket's health director says the data will help provide their behavioral health partners with actionable information.
So spikes in October, taking the kids out trick-or-treating and need a little sugar buzz of your own. Like, what the heck? And then we're getting the family together for the holidays. Just got to try to tolerate those people.
That's wild.
By the way, testing the water for cocaine levels. I never thought you'd test the sewer for cocaine.
And why are they flushing it down the toilets?
Yeah. How much that stuff costs?
You're doing it wrong, Nantucket.